Hello, and welcome to the Food Adventures channel. Today we're going to do the Battle of the Slushies, and we have three slushies. We have the Burger King Slushie, which I have right here, the 7-Eleven Slushie, which I'll get later, and also the Kwik Trip Slushie, because those I've determined are the best three slushies I can get around here. The McDonald's cool drink doesn't really comply because it's not really a slushie, and these three slushies I think are better in value than any other slushie out there. So this is the Burger King slushie. If you look at it, if you look at the slushie, this is very, very fine granular ice. Unlike a lot of the gas station slushies, which are not fine granular ice, they're actually very large chunks of ice, at least like 2 or 3 centimeters big. That ice, when you drink it, you get basically a cold drink flavor with some ice, and it doesn't go down nearly as well. Plus, it loses all its flavor only about a third of the way into the cup. A fine granular drink slushie like this does not lose that flavor until the end, or even closer to the end. So this actually looks a lot more like a 7-Eleven slushie than one of those inferior slushies out there. However, the slushie is kind of small, probably 16 ounces only, but it's only $1, so it is cheaper than the other options. This is a Fanta slushie. I like Fanta more than Coke, but fun fact about Fanta, they actually ran out of the syrupy stuff to make Coke back in World War II in Nazi Germany, so Fanta was invented in its place. So yes, Fanta was invented for Nazis, but it is actually my favorite soft drink out there because it's orangey, not because it was invented by Nazis, because Sunkist is just as good. But Fanta is one of my favorite drinks because it is orange soda, but now that you know that it's invented for Nazis, that's probably the only thing you'll remember about Fanta. But let's take a sip of this slushie. That sweet, sweet touch of Fanta, the kind of and also the kind of almost like kind of a fizzy pop flavor, plus the smooth particles of ice going down, makes it a delightful summer snack. I'm gonna have to drink another. I'm gonna have to drink another sip because that was so good. There's just enough ice in there that it doesn't completely just melt in my mouth when it enters my mouth, but it fills my mouth and all my taste buds with that sweet, sweet orangey flavor. Definitely one of the best slushies I've had, and far superior to most carnival slushies and gas station slushies. And also Fanta is one of my favorite flavors. It's not an original flavor. The orangey flavor is not original. It tastes like an orange popsicle, except with little tiny grains, and with that smooth Fanta going down, but with slightly small grains of ice. Very refreshing, very tasty. Definitely one of the best slushies I've had. That's going to be tough to beat. I definitely give that a slushie an A grade. So that is the Burger King Fanta slushie. Now we go back to the 7-Eleven slushie, and then we'll also have the Kwik Trip slushie. All right, that's it for. Let's go to the next slushie. So we are at 7-Eleven, and they have many flavors of Slurpee. They also have the fine ice. You have Nerds, Cherry, Coke, Blue Raspberry, Pina Colada, Blue Lemonade, Sour Patch Orange, which is probably the one I'm going to get, and Mountain Dew. That is the offering at 7-Eleven. We're going to get one, take it home, and see how it does. Hey, we are back at our place with a 7-Eleven slushie. This slushie is the Sour Patch Orange. I got the orange flavor from Burger King last time, so I wanted to match it. Now the flavor obviously is not exactly the same. It's sour. It's not going to be the same, but I actually like this flavor. The slushie was $2, but it's at least twice as big as the other slushie. Now I could have gotten a smaller slushie, but if I'm going to go out late at night to get a slushie, why not get the biggest one, right? You want the biggest slushie. Sour Patch, $2. You can see the ice grains. It's actually fine, even finer. It's actually even finer than the Burger King slushie, the ice grains. And if I just take a sip, love that Sour Patch taste all the way down in my throat. Just like, you know that Sour Patch candy? It does taste like that in ice form. It is one of my favorite flavors. I think I usually get the Pina Colada though, because that's a little bit like not quite as sour and smooth. But if you look at the ice crystals in this, it's completely shaved. It's completely smooth. That's what I love in a slushie. The Burger King one was good enough already, but this one is slightly better in terms of the granularity, the small granularity of the slushie. And the flavor is very good. They didn't have a pure Fanta one, because I don't think 7-Eleven sells Fanta at the fountain drinks. Because, you know, Fanta was made by Nazis. Actually, no, it wasn't, but it was made in Germany for Nazis back in World War II. I still love Fanta. I don't really care. But this particular slushy Sour Patch, I just showed you the 7-Eleven flavors. In terms of flavors, 7-Eleven easily takes the cake. Burger King only has 2 flavors. 7-Eleven has 6 or 7 flavors, and they're all very delicious. Like I said, I don't mind the Nerds, the Pina Colada, the Coke, or the Mountain Dew, or this flavor. I just got this flavor because it's orange to match the orange of the last flavor. Now, this actually is pretty weird because the color of the slushie is not orange. It's actually green, but it does taste orange Sour Patch. Mmm. That sour burst of flavor in your mouth. It's just as flavorful and tasty as the Burger King slushie. It's bigger, and they have more flavors. The ice is slightly more granular, but the bursting taste is about the same. Note, once again, if a gas station has a slushie that has big ice particles, that is not a good slushie. This, my friend, and the Burger King slushie, these are good slushies. This slushie gets an A. Great flavor, great granularity of ice, goes down very smooth, and has that burst of flavor. Love the Sour Patch flavor, and 7-Eleven gets extra points for having like 6 or 7 flavors, where Burger King only has 2. So that is the review of the 7-Eleven slushie Slurpee, and they have all sizes. They have giant, big slushies. You can also get the double gulp, which is like 50% bigger than this, using the drink cup. They don't like that, but I do it sometimes, especially during the summer when you just need that extra burst of ice, extra burst of slushie. Will give you a brain freeze, though. Excellent flavor. So that is a 7-Eleven slushie, and the next time we'll return with a Kwik Trip slushie, and we'll decide which one is the best slushie out of these 3 slushies. All right, guys, we got our third slushie. This is the Kwik Trip slushie. Got the blueberry kind. This is the little buddy slushie. It was only $1, but you can get the giant 52-ounce slushie for only $2. In terms of price per ounce of slushie, Kwik Trip definitely takes the cake. The Kwik Trip I went to, the PDQ, only has 2 flavors, either kind of like cherry punch or blueberry. Usually Kwik Trip has 3 or 4 flavors, including orange, lime, and all that stuff. But the Kwik Trip nearest to me basically only has 2 flavors. But they're about the same build. Now let's actually... not bad. Now let's analyze the makeup of this slushie. As you can see, compared to the other 2 slushies, the ice crystals are much... The ice crystals, I'm just preventing this from spilling over onto my laptop. The ice crystals in this slushie are far larger. If you look, you can actually see each individual grain, and therefore it hasn't quite melted quite as much on the way back. That's actually not a good thing. Larger ice crystals generally larger ice crystals like this generally mean inferior slushies. You can also get a brain freeze much easier from drinking larger ice crystal slushies than you can get at the 7-Eleven or the Burger King slushie. Remember, for slushies, the finer the ice crystals are, the better the slushie. So this slushie is a lot rougher, and it's not as smooth as the other slushies. Also, if the ice crystal is larger, it's harder to soak in the flavor. So what you get from these kind of slushies is you drink all the liquid. You drink all the liquid about a third of the way down, and then the rest of the slushie is just pure ice. So that's what you do not want from a slushie. You want fine granulated crystals. And this slushie has larger ice crystals, which means it needs to melt more, and it's not crushed nearly as well. The flavor does not seep in as well, and it doesn't go down nearly as smooth. So let's actually take a sip. I'm actually crunching the larger crystals of ice. Unlike those 2 other slushies, it really tasted like I was drinking kind of like, really like just finely flavored granular slushie. This one, I really feel like I'm just drinking chunks of ice with blueberry juice, with like blueberry punch sprinkled on top. So the taste is definitely not as, doesn't flow as well. It's not as evenly distributed. And overall, the slushie just is not as enjoyable as the other slushies. You poke holes in this here slushie, you can definitely see that water comes seeping through. So this is basically just a giant carton of blueberry punch with ice in it, basically. There's more ice in here than in regular blueberry punch, but this is more like ice drink than true slushy. So while this thing is still good on a warm day when you're exercising, it's not the same quality as the 7-Eleven or the the 7-Eleven or the Burger King Slushie. So this slushie takes a distant third to those slushies. Those slushies are far superior to this slushie. However, Kwik Trip is still better because it gives you a lot more slushy for your dollar than other gas stations. So of the three, the Kwik Trip is number 3. Now that comes down to the 7-Eleven versus the Burger King slushie. Honestly, both of those slushies are very fine and very good. But because Kwik Trip gives you more slushy for the dollar, and they have more flavors, even though I love the Fanta flavor, they have more flavors and more slushy for the dollar. I'm going to have to award the winner of the slushie contest to 7-Eleven. So 7-Eleven over Burger King for the best slushie value. That is today's video. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you and have a nice day.